Monday, he squats. Tuesday, he does chest. Wednesday is my TV day. So obviously it means going to TV for Dynamite. Not that he watches television all the time. So, Hill here. Thank you very much for joining me, as always. And I'm sure you've looked at the title and you've been like, well, I know why Billy Gunn is still ripped at 58. And sure, maybe he does double in that stuff. Maybe he doesn't. That is not the point of this video today. In fact, one of the things I want you to take away from this video is that even if you started doing the magic juice tomorrow, you ain't going to look like Billy Gunn. That is not how it works. Too many people think you just jab a bunch of whatever into your ass and all of a sudden you're a big jack monster. That is not how it works. And also, don't forget, there is always a reaction to every action. So just because you're doing one thing doesn't mean you don't have to do another thing. 9 times out of 10, you've got to do the other thing. Nobody worries about the other thing. And what is more important than all of that is that Billy Gunn looks like this at 58 years old, which is absolutely redonkulous. And of course, it comes down to diet, it comes down to genetics, and it comes down to consistency, and it comes down to dedication, which is why, as he has recently spoke about the way he trains and the way he eats, I thought, well, I've got to talk about that. Because we did it for Roman Reigns, we did it for John Cena, I believe we did it to Batista. I like wrestling, I like lifting weights, and this is the kind of stuff I was desperate for when I was a kid and I was growing up. I was like, man, I need to know how all of these people do it, and now we're getting a little idea into the window. So there is a lot in this article as well, which I found on Men's Health about sort of him coming up through wrestling, and it's really interesting. But the quotes that I want to focus on are stuff like this. He's asked about nutrition because he's already in pretty good shape when he was in his 30s. And he said, nowadays I have a bunch of great people around me that are helping. Always remember that. Never say no to help. Back in the day, my thing with nutrition was never anything like it was now. It used to drive guys nuts that I could eat anything I wanted and not gain any bad weight. I could eat and eat and eat and my metabolism would take care of it. Genetics played a pretty good part in it. So straight away, if when he is at his hormonal peak, I suppose, he's able to eat whatever the hell that he wanted and look like this, Billy Gunn is just born with good genetics. I know the comments now goes crazy again. It's not about genetics, it's not about genetics. It is about genetics. It just is. We are all predisposed to a certain genetic thing when we pop out of the womb. And very luckily for Billy Gunn, a man who doesn't want this, his came into fitness, meaning he could eat whatever he want and he still looked pretty good. Imagine what he would have looked like if his nutrition was on point. And he goes on to say in his older age, now everything I do revolves around nutrition. I am anal about it. I know for a fact that if my nutrition is not on point, everything else falls apart. This is why I don't care about the other stuff. He's saying the things that you need to hear. And nobody wants to hear this because we all want to eat pizza instead and stick that in our face. For me, it's a pain in the ass because I take my food and everything I eat during the day on the road with me all the time. I have a big bag for my food. I have a meal prep lady who puts together all my meals. I take egg whites with me. I take oatmeal with me. I take everything with me. And then he talks about how he wants to do it because he's having fun with his kids on the road. They're also wrestlers. And he also doesn't want to be the guy who's just holding on. I like this line too. If we're being honest, ego plays a little part in this. I like what I can do with food. Wrestlers are not bodybuilders. It's a whole different world. He mentions the ego. Let's not pretend, again, how many times we talked about it. You walk in the gym, someone goes, all right, big guy. You're like, ha ha, the big guy. Greatest thing ever. Those guys know about nutrition. Now that I've been in the bodybuilding world, I know how valuable it is. That is my number one thing. Because if my nutrition isn't on point, my training's not on point, my traveling is miserable, and my everyday life is miserable, that's how important nutrition is to me now. And I totally agree. I broke my hand recently. You know this because I don't shut up about it. That was around about a month ago. And while I've still been training legs, one of the first things that went out the window was my nutrition, my eating, my diet. And that's because I can't train in the way I want to, and I can't be ferociously intense 5-6 days a week. I do get a bit lackluster at home, and I do get a little bit inconsistent, and I get a little bit lazy with it. Now, I don't think this is a problem. I think when you're recovering from an injury, sometimes it's nice to give you some time off as long as you make sure you do get back into it when everything is good to go again. But ultimately, if you are not seeing the results and the gains or the fat loss or the weight loss or the abs that you want to see, it's probably because your diet and your food is not on point. Now, again, you can watch videos like this, you can read other website articles, or you can hire a personal trainer because, as we've already talked about, sometimes you just need a bit of help. He then goes on to his specific training, and of course he has to balance it with wrestling because wrestling hurts. I know I've done it. It's why I have a broken hand. See, I never shut up about it. So my training now is scheduled around my traveling. I only train one body part a day. My leg day is on Monday because that's the beginning of my week, and I'm usually always home on a Monday. It's not that I don't put much effort into other body parts, but it just doesn't take as much effort to train everything else as it does my legs. So straight away he's tying into the leg day meme. Beyond that, I train Monday through Friday, and I usually take the weekends off unless I miss a day during the week. So there again, rest, recovery, really important, especially as you do get older. I usually don't miss any days though. I'm consistent with everything that I do. There's that word again. I train very specifically for what I do. So I do a lot of mobility training, and I still squat and deadlift. kind of controversial maybe. Some people say that when you get older, you shouldn't squat and deadlift, but again, it's always going to be specific to the person. Now, this is the key. I don't do a lot of heavy weights with those because my body doesn't sustain heavy weights that much, but I still like to feel it during those lifts. So you see what we're doing here. We are making sure that we are looking at the situation for what it is, and we're being malleable, we're being changeable. I think I may have just made up a word. And he also goes on, they ask him, what do you think the most important exercise is? And he says squatting, because squatting is pretty much a full body exercise for me. I spent a lot of time doing it. I do a lot of warm-ups before I get there. I do a lot of singles and a lot of mobility training for my hips. I front squat and I back squat. It's not a super heavy weight, but I squat on a 12-inch box all the way down. I do 5-second squats. I do a lot of that because if I don't get that stuff in for some reason, because my schedule is so busy during the week, I'm miserable because my body just shuts down. I'm older, so I need that flexibility. Squatting keeps me moving. Other than that, it'd be some back stuff like sumo deadlifts just to get that movement and flexibility in my hips and knees, and it keeps my back strong. So as far as I'm concerned, there is a reason Billy Gunn looks like how he does look. And a lot of it is because he is approaching health and fitness in the way that you should be approaching it. He goes on to mention how he'll train with anything. I'll train with bands, I'll train with chains, I'll train with this, and I'll train with that, and I'll train with anything. But what I found works for me is this, basically. So Monday he squats, Tuesday he does chest, Wednesday is my TV day. So obviously it means going to TV. For Dynamite, not that he watches television all the time. So it's usually arms or something a little easier. Thursday is shoulders, Friday is back, and if I need to do some hamstring stuff on the weekend or something that I didn't get in during the week, I'll just do it then. There is nothing I cannot do. I don't let thoughts like that enter my mind because I feel like I'm letting myself down. So he's doing a bro split recently. So what was it? It was Monday legs, Tuesday chest, Wednesday arms, Thursday shoulders, Friday back. Now, that's not what I do. I do push-pull legs, rest, push-pull legs, rest. But would I be able to do that if I had a schedule like Billy Gunn? Probably not. So as always, there's no right or wrong. If it works for you and you're seeing progress and you're evolving, then you're doing it right. And we shall end with what could be the most important advice, which actually we've already talked about, to be fair, but hey, we'll double down on it. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Get your nutrition on point and be very smart with your training. Don't just go in and start slinging a bunch of weights and think you need to be the strongest person in the gym. Do stuff that helps you become a better person or makes your body react in a way that you need it to react. I don't need to be a bodybuilder now, but I'm very much on that track because I love the results that I'm getting. And at 58, I feel better than I did in my 30s. So that's what I'm talking about here. Sometimes people go into a gym and they think, I've got to lift super heavy. Or I've got to do, 15 to 18 reps. It depends what kind of fad, not really a fad, you know what I'm saying, what you've bought into at the moment. But if your body is not responding to it, then there's no point doing it. And every single person is different. I'm going to hammer that home through this video. Maybe bro splits are for you. Maybe push-pull legs is for you. Maybe, I don't know, training body parts in a really interesting way is good for you. Some people do legs and biceps, and they see great results. Going back to nutrition as well, he mentions how he eats for pleasure and he eats for results. I finally found the foods that are right for me, that process very well, that burn very well, and that do the best for me. That takes patience. That takes time to figure it out. Also, don't be afraid of carbs. He says, I'm a very big white rice guy. Me too, don't like wholemeal rice. It makes me feel disgusting. For some reason, people are so afraid of carbs. They're really the building block for what we do, especially if you're active and you want everything to be right. Everyone shies away from carbs. Anyone can try any kind of diet on the planet they want to, because if you feel bad and you feel the need to figure things out for yourself, that way, go right ahead. He's basically saying it's trial and error, and it is a tedious process. He's right. That's why when people say, oh, keto's rubbish, well, not really, because Triple H, true it's not, but we did that video, and he said he's on a keto diet, and of course, there's many people that are on a keto diet that have absolutely smashed it. So, you can't pretend that these don't work for some people. Now, some diets are better than others in the sense that they're healthier for you, but you can't take away from it. And he also mentioned how he tries to eat so he doesn't eat for pleasure. Sorry, I don't eat for pleasure. I tried eating like a regular person for about a week, and I was miserable. I've been there. So he finishes off by saying that he does eat things, the same things over and over again. And I do that. I've got some salmon cooking right now. You can't smell it, but I can. I think it may be burning, but I wanted to get this video done, and I'll have salmon tomorrow, and I'll have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and so on and so forth. So before you get all silly-billy with all of this, if you take something, of course it's going to help, but you got to get the fundamentals right too. 100%. 100% you got to get the fundamentals and you've got to get the basics right. So don't even worry about that, right? Use Billy Gunn as a great window into what you can achieve to a certain point if you have your nutrition down and you have your diet down, but you do not need to look like Billy Gunn. And I tell you firsthand, you ain't going to look like Billy Gunn, even if you go on a bunch of whatever you want to call it. I don't like saying the words because YouTube goes crazy and it gets me. It doesn't get anybody else, but it gets me. Let people live their own lives and just focus on you and I know you can do it. Now, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the bell, ding ding. So other videos are going live. There is another video on the screen. Please do give it a click. Otherwise, leave a comment below and call me an idiot. I always appreciate it. Patreon.com/Simon316. That is to help support the channel and where the Jim Fells videos are just for now, as I try to sort some things out. I'm sure you already know. Grillermine.com/Simon. Use code Simon to get 10% off. There's a brand new nitric flavor at the moment. It's mouth-watering watermelon. Don't think it's called that. Mouth-watering. Maybe it is called that. I can't remember. Point is, it's nice. I got sent some. I really, really enjoyed it. Otherwise, Ingrid Doucette's Power 13 cookbook if you are looking to have a healthy but fun diet. Also on Cameo if you want a shout out. SimonMiller.BigCartel.com for merch. Otherwise, you take care of yourself. Billy Gunn, you kick an ass. See you soon.